So one of the big topics that gets talked around here at AskMen is how much do you read? I mean, in this media-obsessed climate between tablets and iPhones and laptops, we spend a lot of time watching and absorbing information in a very different way. So it kind of raises the question, how important is it to read and be well-read in terms of your interaction with other men and in particular with women as well? One of the first things is it's definitely going to make you smarter. There's a lot of ways you retain information when you're watching television or you're watching a movie that is not the same as getting your brain kind of going through these steps of processing words, and it keeps your brain a little bit sharper. So reading is a good way to kind of keep that level of your attention span, that level of intelligence, as sharp as possible. That's all this exposure to kind of fast, quick moving media definitely has an impact on our minds that reading kind of slows you down a little bit and gets you to kind of use your mind a little bit more creatively as well. There's nothing worse than being out on the joke and not getting the joke. And reading and literature over history has been a good basis for this. I mean, whether it's an episode of Family Guy or it's a contemporary retelling of a classic piece of literature in a modern television series, there's a lot of the inspiration that comes from these things is from classic books. And if you haven't read these books, well, you might be getting some of it, you're not getting all of it. Well, the third reason is actually, I think, one of the more obvious ones is that it's entertaining. I think we tend to forget how much fun it is to read. A lot of people tend to read more when they're on vacation. You get a couple of weeks off, you're sitting on the beach, you tend to gravitate towards that. We're always surprised, I think, when we find out, this is actually a lot of fun. I get to kind of interact with the storyline in a different way than just kind of getting a 2.5-hour movie experience and I'm done. You don't have to read the heavy classics. There's nothing wrong with reading a light 400-page, John Grisham-esque kind of thriller, and that really gives you some of that entertaining punch that you may forget comes from picking up a book. The last reason is actually probably the most AskMen friendly one in the fact that girls like guys that read. If you're going after a girl you want to have a relationship with, I mean, certainly around AskMen, it's a very common topic. If you have not read anything, it's not a very attractive quality to most women to think of a guy that is afraid to pick up a book. In keeping pace with relationships out there, dating or pursuing women, having that in your arsenal in terms of what you have as a package as a guy, whether it's looks or athleticism or style, having well read as being one of those characteristics is definitely a big one. So the bottom line is there's a lot of reasons to read. I mean, it seems fairly obvious. When you get down to how it can help you in a day-to-day approach to life, it's key. And I think there's a lot of time in our lives where we can just sit down, take the time, pick a book, and read a little bit just to make sure that we're keeping up.